Alright, so we won't fuck around too much, we'll just get straight back into it. Part 2.
Egypt. Undoubtedly, one of the most controversial places for modern history to try to keep the control of in regards to its origin, its true age, or original builder. When one either visits the Giza Plateau and is lucky enough to gaze upon these 3 great pyramids, or merely able to peer upon them through their computer screens, the first thing that will usually cross one's mind is awe and amazement. Yet this is often instinctually followed by an air of wonder, a curiosity as to how these miraculous structures were built, who could have possibly built them, and most importantly of all, why. Yet these questions, and indeed the pursuit of their answers, has been a mission for many well-funded deceptors.
On the right hand side. Come on. They must have had, like, we don't even do that shit now, and if we do, it's a fucking shitty statue of a president or something, you know? Like, this is fucking...
of individuals for many years to work
something.
very hard to distract you from either asking or pursuing as personal line of inquiry. For example, the golden mask of King Tut, along with the many other undoubtedly spectacularly valuable artifacts encrusted with precious metals and jewels that can be seen littering Egypt in its many museums and in the mountains of literature, books, and touring exhibits, which are published, pushed, and permitted in regards to this spectacular area of human history.
Crazy things we don't know about. Yet we're not going to find out because you need to wake up when your alarm goes off at 6 o'clock in the morning and go to work until 5 o'clock in the afternoon, eat dinner, go to bed, repeat 5 days a week. You'll never...
At the gem, which stands for the Grand Egyptian Museum late last month.
Yeah, this is very quiet. I'm just going to skip this part. A little bit too quiet to even hear, but it just basically points out fucking...
From the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. Their new home is only...
Incas of Peru.
Oh.
These re-inhabitants merely rediscovered the creations of a far older, far more advanced predecessor, who I believe not only constructed these sanctuaries, which these well-studied ancient civilizations merely used to enable the flourishment of their own cultures, in turn leaving a smorgasbord of architectural artifacts for funded academics to excavate and subsequently parade around, usually bombarding many individuals with deep insights into their lifestyles, culture, and death practices, are yet, as I would have predicted, nearly always absent, that which supports my posit, any logical explanation or demonstration of how these people built these structures in which they once inhabited, like a void in their academic study, one which is not only consistently ignored and concealed by these same academics, but are unknown facts to all of modern humanity to this day.
They look like old stones.
This mystery is a result of the incredible nature of these structures, the precision involved in their constructions, and the enormity of some of the stones used in the building of the structures. Many of you may have seen my recent videos or be a keen follower of my work, and as such, are aware of the...
Just again, definitely go check out this guy's other videos and that. I'll put a link in the description like I did to the last one.
The fact that due to my in-depth study of the unknowns regarding these sites worldwide, and the collection and collaboration of the similarities and differentiabilities...
Like, look at this guy. Look at this guy in the middle. He's fucking tiny, man. They're trying to tell me that these cunts brought that up. Nah. They couldn't have brought that up there with... Give us the fucking answers, you know?
I have personally collected and categorized regarding many of these ancient structures. I have personally been able to establish a very strong, evidence-based hypothesis regarding the identity of 3 separate lost civilizations, which I have established using signatures within their style of building, and by default differentiations in their styles of building, to unquestionably identify them as separate yet particular groups
Interesting
responsible for the
ways
different
of creating how they
unexplainable
have back then.
structures spanning
People
the
would say they
entire
wouldn't be able
globe.
to fucking do that.
Yet, although these groups have indeed
Guess what,
crossed paths,
motherfuckers?
such areas as Aswan Quarry, and most significant to my own
They knew
research in
something
Italy,
we did
where
not.
the polygonal civilization built upon the Cyclopeans' work, allowing me to
Probably won't,
establish
'cause we're
which
gonna
preceded
continue
which.
to-
And although these groups have been established to have abandoned projects midway through,
Live by
thus
the fucking
indicating that
dickheads.
they came to a sudden and untimely demise due to cataclysm, the civilization responsible for the pyramids, and indeed the movement of the blocks at Baalbek in China, which all far exceed 1,000 tons, is yet another civilization which far predated all which I have already identified.
Yep.
These three civilizations are the polygonal civilization, the Cyclopean civilization, and the
Yangshan Quarry, China, abruptly abandoned during its excavation, weighs an estimated 16,000 tons. That's a big fucking rock, and yeah, people I'm sure would say that's natural. Like, that's just, yeah, maybe, but fucking, it looks like it was meant to be something, and then they thought, fuck, we might have taken a little bit too much on here, let's fuck that off. But
Neolithic civilization,
that's crazy shit.
each with their own
Crazy.
unique building techniques and identifiable stone-cutting signatures in their technologies.
Like, even that,
The
how did they know
pyramid
that they
builders
would
were
trust that that
unimaginably
top
more capable
wouldn't have
than all
just
three.
dropped
And
on
although the Neoliths, who indeed have created some astonishingly advanced ruins, could have quite possibly been a surviving remnant of this civilization, this
See all these little
digression
things popping off the bricks? What the fuck, man? Maybe things that they might have used to lever down, I don't know.
is for another time.
Fucking
Though
who
at
knows?
sites such as Baalbek, the Trilithon, which contains stones over 1,000 tons, there are Cyclopean stones built atop the stones, and at other places in the world, polygonal masonry has been found, such as Axum in Ethiopia, where the toppled obelisk is said by some to be in excess of 1,000 tons. I have never, and now strongly feel will never, find any indicative evidence of these civilizations building the footings under any of these gigantic megaliths, as they were not responsible for their creation or placement. Additionally, the civilization responsible for the pyramids and these enormous megalithic
Could be
blocks
wrong,
elsewhere
but a crane,
were also the civilization who created the false
that a crane, a modern age crane now can only carry a certain amount of tons, which I don't think is even over 600. I could be absolutely way off there. And when these are 600 to 1,000 tons, fucking,
door.
and you wrapped a rope around them and fucking pulled them.
A mysterious rock-carved feature also found
the only
littering the now
explanation we have.
exposed mega metropolis found beneath the Guatemalan rainforest by penetrative radar. Tikal, part of this metropolis, the place where the plaque illustrating a past global cataclysm was once found, also has pyramids built solely leading to these false doors, with one found in Peru, built into the only rock face containing a very peculiar crystal known for its resonance qualities in amplifying radio waves. I feel that much of the spectacles found in modern Egyptian museums are merely distractions from the really important truths, which we should all be focusing on instead, such as the true age of the pyramids, structures which, in the past, I have also independently identified as still possessing three separate identifiable stages of attempted casing stones for conservation, each significantly older or younger than each other, with the true exoskeleton of the structures made of stones far in excess of one.
Look at that. What was that? I'm guessing that might have been how they wanted it to finish, and that maybe wasn't perfect the way they wanted it to continue going up it, for that nice clean look that it had at the top last time I mentioned it. Maybe that's the only thing that survived, I don't know.
1,000 tons. Join us next time, where I will expose the controlled opposition within the fringe fields of archaeology, which have stemmed from a growing pursuit for the truth of these facts, with a focus upon the water erosion hypothesis of the Great Sphinx, why it is a misdirection, and the Sphinx's true, original, undeniable identity. Facts and truths exposed, which are undoubtedly highly compelling. There are so many astonishing, seemingly unexplainable features of the Great Pyramids of Giza. It makes one wonder why anyone would still believe the academic's tale of events, stating that they were the work of copper-wielding ancestors many thousands of years ago. And to sit across such vast area of land, with the largest Cheops covering many acres, yet is no more than 1/4 of an inch from being perfectly cardinal aligned, just seems like a preposterous premise to push.
It's just a coincidence.
In the previous video, the astonishing similarities that many years of exhausting research surrounding the unexplained ruins was explained. How MH, the channel's producer, had cataloged and mapped a number of identifiable features across many ruins, each of these identifying characteristics uniquely exclusive to one ancient civilization found upon and within unexplained ancient ruins across the entire globe. These signature similarities, and by default their many differentiations, has allowed him to establish the identity of 3 separate civilizations.
Different places,
civilizations which appear to have restarted consecutively, thus, as one would expect, branched off in vastly different directions of development, having to rebuild a modernized society from the remnants of the previous. Their past.
I'll do something on that after this. Polygonal, which apparently is the tools, or I'll get into it more, I'm not too sure, but apparently it's
existences denied by historians for many years. But I strongly believe that we will be the generation which bucks the trend, shifting a paradigm which has affected nearly everyone's lives negatively in some way. As critical mass awareness approaches, as we continue to push onwards regardless of their attempts to stifle the truth, the efforts and sacrifices made and given by individuals who perceive this deceit as a breach of all of our independent liberty as human beings, is finally cracking their shields of ignorance. Predictably, these same institutions who have made lives so difficult are now slowly...
What's the... If they could do that so nicely, wouldn't they have just had it going row by row by row? Maybe they knew something we didn't know. Maybe they exactly do that for the reason because they know that even if shiftments were to shift, it's not gonna... It's all... We'll have to go back in time.
Admitting they did indeed once exist.
Fucking amazing.
The proof of these separate groups, which Mystery History's producer named the Cyclopean, Polygonal, and Neolithic civilizations, all had advanced capabilities, each separate from each other, yet fortunately, each possessing their own unique identifiable features, which still litter many of these existing sites. Impenetrable fortresses, ingenious architectural design, visually impressive and mentally baffling methods of masonry are just a few of these ancient...
So they've got little stones here. Little stones. They're like, fuck it, let's pick it up a notch. That's one big stone. This stone up here. And then maybe they're like, that's way too hard, let's go back to little stones. Maybe. That's what it looks like. Shitty. Let's try our hardest. Giving up, can't. Let's go back.
Civilization's legacies. Polygonal masonry, for example, yet to be fully understood by modern man in regard to its construction. The treasury of Atreus, which contains Cyclopean masonry techniques, displaying intimate knowledge of weight-bearing architecture, which the academically attested builders simply did not possess knowledge of.
Even that. Above the treasury is 100+ ton lintel, is an ingenious A-frame. This thing right here. And it's almost like, if you look at that, just here, where the line comes up, it's almost like they did start cutting into that and then thought, nah, let's show these cunts that'll just level out there. They stopped cutting. Same with here. So maybe, who's to say they didn't just find the rocks? Look at all the rocks up top. Just got to say, maybe they just cut slightly into it to look like they're blocks, but really it's one big fucking thing.
Underground towns and cities, the town in which the Flintstones inhabited, carved deep into some of the toughest bedrocks on Earth. Derinkuyu being one of the largest, which instead of being a fortress built above the ground, placed in a strategic location atop a hill or mountain, was carved into the earth. To claim such feats were even possible by our own well-known ancient ancestors with the access to the tools they had at the time is simply a preposterous, illogical stance to take. One which, if given as the answers to such sites' origins, can be seen as nothing short of the abandonment of one's senses in return for an undisturbed income flow. A ridiculous explanation for the city's origins, forced upon the academic world for fear of losing their income and career, and in turn down the throats of students who desire good grades. Stretching many kilometers into the earth, enormous rolling stones were placed at strategic passageways, and although we have no idea how they move such stones, they were clearly placed there in an attempt to stop some form of invader, one they felt as if such measures were not undertaken would have been vulnerable to.
So hang on, what? Did they fucking... How could they have rolled the stones through all these little spots, you know? Like, how the fuck? What's the little thing in the middle? Obviously could have been something that they had to... You look around, I don't know, maybe they built that stone in there, maybe it was just they managed to get water and shit in there to make a hard clay, and then it seems like the only reasonable fucking explanation, because you wouldn't have rolled that all the way through all these things.
Idea how they move such stones, they were clearly placed there in an attempt to... And although we have no idea how they move such stones, they were clearly placed there in an attempt to stop some form of invader, one they felt as if such measures were not undertaken would have been vulnerable to. The hypogeum in Malta, with acoustic properties which we are yet to fully understand. The subject of our next video, with some astonishing discoveries we have unearthed during further research of this underground lair. These ancient sites tunneled deep underground, rumored to have been lit by miraculously clever, naturally fed gas-fueled lighting systems, balanced flames eternally, lighting the inhabitation's pathways. Yet, as mentioned in our previous investigative film, the pyramid builders were responsible for the movement of stones, which reach well into the thousands of tons, setting them quite literally a world apart in their eventual technological capabilities. And due to our identification of no less than 3 separate phases of casing stones adorned upon the Great Pyramids, which due to the decayed and incredibly eroded condition of the stones beneath them, with casing stones also varying in age, it appears clear that they were all possible conservation efforts, undertaken at different times within ancient man's past, after no less than 3 cyclical developments of our civilization. These factors, mystery history not only perceives as clear evidence supporting the hypothesis of multiple lost generations, but also clearly displays their different methods of accomplishing these tasks. Furthermore, they can clearly show all who wish to study them, whether attempting to amass, as the channel has, a large privately held collection of proofs, evidences, and UPART studies that were hidden all over Earth, regardless of one's reasoning. I implore all to merely study the casing stones of Giza's pyramids for more than enough proof of many lost civilizations and the pyramids and their past builders' tremendous age. Additionally, we want to make it clear to all that we encourage discourse. The organically grown nature of the channel's demographic is its most important characteristic. We do not reject other people's disagreements to anything presented, or that is claimed on occasion, as long as they...
as well to the channel that I'm watching this video off, which is because they're basically saying, what's your thoughts? Let me know what you think. If you're fucking blah blah blah, giving your ideas, they're not going to say you're a dickhead. That's stupid. Like,
they are willing to attempt constructive discourse in the pursuit of that which is the ultimate goal, the truth.
that's it. Exactly.
If you
right.
have made a private discovery, or would prefer subjects or opinions to be shared with the creator with discretion, need advice or assistance regarding historical issues in any way, get Mystery History's opinion on something, don't hesitate in contacting him, the antiquarian creator who runs the show. This can be done via private email correspondence, Facebook, or Patreon.
And I'll leave it there as well on this one. Basically, yeah, might just repeat a couple things here and there, but it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. Again, let me hear your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know how you go. Thanks for watching. See you next time.